美国时事通，我是罗文。
Now to the war in Ukraine, and tonight President Zelensky telling reporters he believes the war with Russia will end faster under Trump. At what cost for Ukraine? What Zelensky also said. Our chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell from Kyiv tonight.
Tonight, ferocious fighting underway in Kursk, the border area of Russia Ukrainian forces took over earlier this year, as President Zelensky predicts the war will end faster under the policies of President-elect Trump. 50,000 Russians, supported by North Korean soldiers and weaponry, now trying to drive Zelensky's men out of Russia. And the Russians also advancing on the front lines inside Ukraine, in the eastern Donbass and northeastern Kharkiv regions. But in a new interview, Zelensky saying, for us, a just peace is very important, so there'd be no feeling that we lost our best people for the sake of an injustice imposed upon us. The war will end, but there's no exact date. But Trump has vowed to end the war quickly.
We're going to work very hard on Russia and Ukraine. It's got to stop. Russia and Ukraine's got to stop.
But for now, Russian attacks on civilian areas incessant as Ukraine readies to negotiate with Trump. Above all, Ukraine wants security guarantees, but at what cost?
David, though it's unclear from Zelensky's interview exactly what the cost is going to be, I think the reality on the ground is that they may have no choice but to hand over parts of their country to Vladimir Putin if they really want peace.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president with us. And he's been through a lot. He's been through a tremendous amount, like probably nobody else, almost nobody else in history, if you really get right down to it. And we're going to have a discussion and see what we can come up with. But great honor to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you so much for this meeting. Five years passed.
Yeah.
So we had meeting again here in New York in September, and now there are a lot of challenges in Ukraine, United States, and of course I want to discuss with you. I think where we are together, I think we have common view that the war in Ukraine has to be stopped and Putin can't win, and Ukrainians have to prevail, and I want to discuss with you the details of our plan of victory.
My honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have a question for the president? Anybody?
Why did you decide to meet?
I think it's me, or
Both
to
of you.
both us. Okay, thank you so much. First of all, it's very important to share all the plan, all our steps, how we can strengthen Ukraine. And of course, we have to decide it now, because after November, we don't know who is, only Americans decide who will be the president. But we understand that till November, we can't stop Putin. We have to do it. We will try on the battlefield with our heroic soldiers, but we understand that after November, we have to decide, and we hope that the strength of the United States will be very strong, and we count on it. That's why I decided to meet with both candidates with all honor to them. Thank you.
Mr. President, Mr. President Trump, so what are your expectations about this meeting? So what I expect to hear from the President Zelensky, and what are your expectations?
Say it a little louder, please.
What are your expectations from this meeting? What do you expect to hear from Mr.
Nothing.
President?
Look, this is a meeting, and we have a big race going on right now. I guess 37 days left, and we're leading in the polls, and so we'll see how it all works out. Hopefully it'll work out, but if it does, we're going to work very much with both parties to try and get this settled and get it worked out. It has to end at some point. It has to end. He's gone through hell, and this country has gone through hell like few countries have ever, like it's happened anywhere. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's a terrible situation. And I will say I have had a great relationship. It was very honorable. I don't even know if you know this, but when they did the impeachment hoax, it was a hoax, just a Democrat hoax, which we won. But one of the reasons we won it so easily is that when the president was asked, it was over a phone call with the president, and he said he could have grandstanded and played cute, but he didn't do that. He said, President Trump did absolutely nothing wrong. He said it loud and clear, and the impeachment hoax died right there. He could have said, well, I don't know, I don't know. and I never even told you this, to be honest, but he was like a piece of steel. He said President Trump did nothing wrong. We had a very nice call. He congratulated me on his victory. You just won. And I remember that. He could have played cute, and he didn't play cute. And so I appreciated that. So we have a very good relationship. And I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin. And I think if we win, I think we're going to get it resolved very quickly. I really think we're going to get it resolved.
I hope we have more good relations.
We're going to have, oh, I see.
Do you
Yeah,
think Ukraine
but you know, it
can
takes two to tango, you know, and we're going to have a good meeting today. And I think the fact that we're even together today is a very good sign. And hopefully we'll have a good victory, because if the other side wins, I don't think you're going to have victories with anything, to be honest with you. So we're going to sit down, just discuss it. And if we have a win, I think long before January 20th, before I would take the presidency, it's January 20th, but long before that, I think that we can work out something that's good for both sides. It's time. And by the way, the president knows that too. He wants to get something done. He doesn't want to do this. And so we look forward to having them meeting. I look forward to being with him. But what I said is true. He was a piece of steel. He gave a very honest, straight answer, and that it really essentially ended the impeachment hoax. And I appreciated that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
The bad news keeps coming for Ukraine. Russia is not only gaining ground along key front lines, it's also preparing to launch a massive counteroffensive in the southern Russian region of Kursk, the only place where Ukraine has seen major military success this year. All of this as Ukraine nears 3 years since Russia's full-scale invasion. And it's now facing, of course, uncertainty with its most important ally, the United States. But during an interview, Zelensky said one thing is certain as President-elect Trump prepares to return to the White House.
I believe that the war will end, and it will not end in the abstract, but there's no exact date. However, the war will end faster with the policy of the team that will now lead the White House. This is their approach, their promise to their society, and it is also very important to them. Перше, сильна Україна. Вона повинна бути сильною для будь-якої дипломатії. Хочу ще раз це підкреслити.
Але США не лише потенційний посередник в переговорах. Це країна, яка надає величезні обсяги допомоги Україні і яка може спонукати нас до того, щоб ми сіли за стіл переговорів. Який меседж ви отримали від Дональда Трампа під час тих контактів, які у вас з ним були? Тобто як він каже? Він каже, я стану президентом і сідайте за стіл переговорів. Як це виглядає?
Я думаю, що він так не каже. Ми незалежна Україна, і мені здається, в час цієї війни наш народ, і я особисто в перемовинах зі Сполученими Штатами Америки і з Трампом, і з Байденом, і з іншими європейськими лідерами довели, що з нами риторика «сідай і слухай» не працюючи. І це не через те, що ми такі, а через те, що так ми повинні відноситись, в принципі, до будь-якої країни, будь-якого народу, будь-якого лідера. Поважати. Це, в принципі, рівність, одна з цих цінностей, за які ми боремося сьогодні.
What do you think are kind of the best and worst case scenarios for them if Trump does indeed go forward with trying to negotiate a deal with Putin to end this war?
Well, I think that, in some ways, a lot of people around Zelensky, they do not have a great relationship with the U.S. administration right now. It's not all, rainbows and sunshine. And so in some ways, I think that there are certainly parts of Ukrainian society and leadership who welcomes the Trump administration and their kind of realistic approach. And they're hoping that what happens in the end here is that Trump will realize that Russia actually is not willing to compromise and that he is going to have to support them and force Russia to make compromises. I think the worst case is probably not the most likely. I do not think that President Trump wants to go down as the greatest appeaser of Russia in history. Like looking like a Chamberlain. I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to end this war, but and I think that he believes that it is on fair terms. I think that fairness is in the eyes of the beholder, and so that measurement stick is really going to be about how each side sees this, and it's going to be a little harder than it looks at first glance.